I'm back again. I know I posted again like a few weeks back and said I was gonna be more consistent, and then I moved out, so it got a little bit complicated, but I'm back now and I wanna continue making videos. First of all, I'm sorry, it's pretty echoey in here, so I know it's not gonna be the best sound quality because like we're still getting furniture and it's got Scream playing on the background. Fire movie, by the way. But this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, or not just like video, but like series that I wanna make. I've been wanting to make horror style content for a long time because it's my favorite genre. I just haven't for some reason. I don't know, I haven't really felt like uploading, so I thought that now would be the time to do it. I think I'm gonna do a new video series called Horror Log, which is going to take place like once every week or something like that. I'm gonna talk about whatever new horror movies I watched. New for me, not necessarily new in general, but we have some big ones to talk about because I think 3 technically new watches that I want to get into. One is a rewatch, but we'll get into that. Let me go from least exciting to most exciting. Probably the least exciting one is Hush. I rewatched Hush. I used to love it. I watched it when I was like 13, 14, and I loved it. On rewatch, I didn't like it as much. I thought it was really good. The idea of like being like alone in a solidated house, or solidated, is that a word? I think so, solidated. Obviously is the generic plot for a horror movie. But having her be mute and deaf makes it really interesting. There's a few shots in it where it's like from her perspective, so you're witnessing the scene, but you're like, it's completely like silent. I think it's really well done though. Like I did really enjoy it. That one I think I ended up giving a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. That one's probably the least interesting. I probably will pick that up for physical media. I think I'm gonna do that as well, talk about would I pick it up for physical media, because I obviously collect movies. That one I think I will. The next one is a very popular one, especially like in the horror community. Like a lot of people have talked about this, and I've been wanting to watch it. It Follows. It Follows obviously is getting a sequel soon called They Follow. They just keep fucking following for some reason. I loved a lot about It Follows actually. A majority of it, I was at 4.5 stars out of 5, like leaning 5. Like I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the premise, the camera work and the use of music in it was very, very similar to 1978 Halloween. So I loved that because it gave me a very like late 70s horror feel, and it just has a very like late 70s, early 80s horror like aesthetic to it. The whole atmosphere around the movie is also very, very well done. I like a majority of it. I feel like the acting almost mimicked those, where it's like not over the top. It's not horrible, but it's just not over the top, and I think that's good. The first hospital scene is kind of what made me drop it a little bit. I wasn't big on the direction that they took with that. Oh, I'm doing spoilers, I'm allowed to talk with it. When she lets the dude get some. I wasn't big on that. I figured that might have been where they go with this, but I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't do that. And then the pool scene I thought didn't really make a whole lot of sense because they kind of seemed surprised that the spirit was throwing all these electrical items in it. Maybe I just missed something. Like, I'm sure that people will comment very, very kindly in the comments about what I missed, but I feel like that didn't really make much sense. And then I just wasn't big on the hospital scene, but the rest of it, I loved. Like I was at like a 4.5 for a majority of it. I did end up dropping it to 4 stars. I was thinking about 3.5 because I really wasn't crazy about the pool scene. But I'm not gonna drop it a whole half star just because of that one scene. So I was at a solid 4, which is still a very solid score. And that one I already own actually. I picked this one up before I bought it because I know it was like very, very highly talked about. So I know I wanted to have it, and I still loved it. Like I did really, really enjoy it. That one I highly recommend. I think horror fans, that's like a must watch. Like I feel like I see that going down as a modern classic, despite being only giving it 4 out of 5, which again, still a good score. But most of the time when I consider a movie a horror classic, it's 4.5 or 5 stars. That's one of the ones that I would consider a horror classic that is less than that. But I think it's very well done. I think it's the passable curse thing, obviously with like Smile and stuff like that, is not a very like unique plot, but they make it unique with it being like a paranormal STD thing. I thought that was really cool. All right, last but not least, the big movie, Sinners. This movie, okay. The first 2 acts of this movie, I was at 5 stars. I thought it was perfect. Unfortunately, it is a horror movie, and the horror aspects of it almost felt sidelined in it, which is really, really disappointing. He spends so long setting up almost like this mob kind of old style gangster movie, and I thought it was great, but the whole time I was kind of thinking like, isn't it supposed to be like a vampire movie? Vampires kind of felt like a side story, and then they kind of like, they forgot about it for a while, and then was kind of like, oh right, this is a vampire movie, and then they quickly fit it back in. The vampire action was really cool. The modern version of vampires seems to be like a bunch of sharp teeth all over the mouth, and I'm not crazy on that design for vampires personally. I kind of like a more simple design, because I thought part of what was cool about like Dracula and stuff is that he looks like a normal dude. Like you would not be able to tell that he's a vampire, and I kind of like that. They kind of take it away when they do that. A lot of vampire movies now kind of do the idea of they have this normal human form and then they can turn into like this vampire kind of like sharp teeth form, which is cool, you know, I like it, but I'm not crazy about it. I like it, but don't love it. Now, I did end up giving it a kind of a reluctant 4.5 because I really wanted to give it a 5-star. Again, the first 2 acts are perfect, but it's just, I felt, again, the horror aspects kind of felt sidelined, which was disappointing, but as a movie, I thought it was like phenomenal. The pacing was another problem that I felt with it. The first 2 acts were kind of slow burn. It worked for the kind of story that it was going for, and then they kind of picked it up for the vampire stuff, which I get, they might have felt like they kind of have to. But again, it just didn't, it felt like the ending wasn't for this movie. Then the very ending, I just wasn't like, there's an end credit scene that I'm just not big on, honestly. Like, I understand what they were trying to do, but I just really wasn't big on it. So it was a little disappointing when you have this high hope for this movie, like the first 2 acts being really, really good, and then it just kind of dips with the last act. But I still gave it a 4.5, like very, very good score. Still a phenomenal movie. It has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, I think. So it's a little high, but I would say like 90 is fair for it. Again, it's still a great movie. So that's kind of like my horror log. I probably missed a horror movie that I've seen here or there or whatever. But that's my horror log for this week. Again, I'm sorry about coming back and then leaving for a little bit again, but I had to get situated at my new apartment. But now that I'm here, I can actually like watch movies. Like, again, I have like Scream going on in the background. I've been watching movies today. So if you want to see more like horror style content, let me know, because I actually really enjoyed making this video, just talking about stuff. I can vent all day. Side note, I actually have a podcast. I never actually like talked about this on this channel. I have a podcast with my roommate and our friend called the Modern Nonsense Podcast. It's on Spotify. You can check it out, but it's literally modern nonsense. We talk about everything. It's not horror based. I want to start a horror based podcast, which I might do. It's everything. Like, we've made a video on like tier lists, and we've talked about remakes. Like, we've talked about cryptids. We've talked about a bunch of different things on it. It's really fun. If you want to check it out, you might not like it, but if you want to check it out, it's on Spotify. It's called the Modern Nonsense Podcast. Anyways, thank you for checking out today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.